right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 3 of the Papercraft World Dragon 3D Papercraft Model DIY Kit. Let's see where we're at now. So we're going into the third part. We're going to do 2 parts of this build today. Build, I'd like to call it. So far we've gotten this part, and today it looks like we're adding the horns. So there's a lot of the gold pieces here. We're going to be doing part 3 right here and part 4. So we're hopefully going to be ending up with the headpiece that looks just like this. Sorry, let me get that on screen there. Now, again, got a lot of user feedback or watcher viewer feedback, I should say, on how I can improve the stream, and one of the suggestions was to speed it up was to pre-fold everything. So last time we pre-punched everything out. This time we have everything punched out and pre-folded, pre-creased to put together. Now let's see, we'll be getting all these things together. So we're going to be starting off with pieces D22 and D21, which are these ones, D22, D21. And we're gluing up 55 and 54 together on each of these. So 55 is right here, 54 is right there. So a little bit of a full extra piece there. We're just gonna add that little fold in like so, and 54 will just connect there. Just to glue these little pieces together just like so. Get that all together. Got my glue off to the side this time because it's taking up a lot of space on my workspace area here with the pieces that we're going to be doing for part 4. I guess I should relabel this stream as part 3 and 4. Now we can let that side set up and get a little bit tacky. And let's line up these ones. So here 63 and 62 are being put together. So 62 and 62 are going to match like this, and it looks like we have number 63. We'll line up this edge and we'll transfer the crease again over. Like so. Okay, and we shall spread the glue onto these tabs. So by the time we get to it, it'll be nice and tacky for the glue up. All right, let's go ahead and do this one. So it's connecting 55 and 54. We'll connect 55 first. So we can just line this one up. Like so, along the edge. And number 54 will line up just like so. See that texture start to form there. We'll do the same thing on this side, 62 and 63. So I'll line up 63 just along this edge right there. Press it right in, and then we will line up 62 along the other edge. Wonderful. So we have these two pieces. Now, 52, 53, and 51. 51, 52, and 53 all stick into itself there. One, and then 52 is right here. And this is 53. So 52 extends past, again, we have that little crease there. 52 goes past that crease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch it here, transfer that crease line over to this tab and fold it over just to make it a lot easier to stick in that space there. I don't know if you can see that very well, but we also have to glue this little tiny tab right there. So I'm going to make sure I get some good amount of glue on there. Wonderful. Same thing here. We have number 60, which is right there, which needs to transfer over that crease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it all up with the edge. I can get it in there like so. Pinch this crease and just transfer that bend onto the underside of the piece here. And I'll just give it a nice solid fold so we can make nice good glue contact. Again, a little tiny tab right here. Make sure I get a decent amount of glue on it for it to stay, and we'll prep the other tabs as well. There we go. Go back to the first side and see if we can stick this tiny tab, number 51, into itself. Not too bad. We can reinforce it with the next tab, like so, pinching right into the second crease and the last one. Wonderful. So I want to make sure I really get into those corners, pushing them in, and there we go. One side is complete. Let's do the other side. Again, we're starting with the mini tab. Get my nail right in there and squeeze it really tight before I move on to the next piece. Again, I want to squeeze those edges right up against the crease lines as much as possible. Now, all right. So we have, oops, paintbrush is rolling around. We have number 56, 57, and 58, which are going to connect to this side somewhere. There they are. Found it. 56, 57, and 58. And also on the other side, we have 66, 64, 65, and 66. Right here, 64, 65, and 66. So let's go ahead and prepare both of those sets of tabs. Well, let's see if we need to transfer any of the creases over. So 56 is right here. 57 will be right there. So it looks like I need to do the top one first, then move on to the bottom ones. Okay, good to know. Just for procedural wise, which one dictates the easiest angle or the easiest join. Now it's just the easiest for me, you guys. My preference of how to stick things together and how dexterous my fingers are. That's what works for me. So that's what I will use. Now, I also got a tip from another viewer that I was putting too much water on my Mod Podge, on my brush, which was leading to inconsistencies on how sticky these things were after I let them sit for a bit. So I'm trying this time without adding any extra water, and it seems to be working actually rather well. Okay, let's stick number 58 on to the 58 line, getting it right inside there, lining up the bend, moving to 57 inside, nice and tacky, and then sticking on number 56. You know, that actually worked really well. I'm glad I pre-tested the fit. Same thing on the other side, number 66. We'll fit that one first. I'm going to really bend that one up so I can see the hard edge here that I need to be lining up against. Pinch it real tight. Move on to lining up the next edge right there. And finally, last tab, we'll line up the lines for the edges right here and pinch it down solid. Wonderful. Look at that. So we've got the two top horns all connected up to the head. Soon we won't be able to fit this guy in the frame. All right, now we're making these long horns, as you see here. So as we can see in the diagram, all of these loop back onto themselves, and I think I'm going to do that joint last, and we're going to try to connect everything together first and see how that goes. So we're going to start with the smallest one and connect it moving up in from right to left. So that is right here. And we can see that it fits in here like so. So if this was to come around, well then, it looks like we are going to be in for quite the interesting glue up, as of course these will need to go really well. Okay, we've got a bunch of work to do. It looks like everything just gets mirrored, so I'm going to do both. I'm going to prep both sides at the same time for the right and left. Just so I have some tackiness and I don't have to wait too long in between for the drying of each piece. There we go. Nice and glued up. And let's start. So, gonna line up number 68. So I'm gonna throw that one into a really big fold so I can line up those edges. Squeeze them real tight. And then from this side, I will line up the next edges. Like so. And the next edge, giving it a nice bend until it reaches. Like so. I'm completing the last piece. Looks like it needs to curl quite a bit to line up to that edge. Just like so. Now this final piece is going to get tucked in there. It's going to do well. We're going to do all of those at the end. There we go. Again, starting with that major fold and lining up the edges. And coming to this side, seeing the edge there, lining it up, squeeze, folding it down around the bend until it matches. Again, another squeeze. And the last one, gonna need a big fold, a strong squeeze. And again, this one will fold under. And form the shape, which is the tip. Go in here with the screwdriver. I just want to push. So it looks like I need to have a little bit more work on those edges, but hopefully these are sticking. Yeah. All right, next set. Again, I'm going to assume that these are all pretty much the same way, but it looks like I need to have a little bit more glue up next to the overlap part, because I don't want these ends sticking out too much, so I want to have some glue to stick onto, and if we have excess, we can wipe that off later. I just want this as clean as possible, the seams as clean as possible, sorry. There we go. And we'll start from here again, number 73. Push that and hold. And move it along to the next one and hold. Start on this one, number 101. Really, I should stay in frame. Let's move my seat over to encourage the staying in frameness. Because I guess staying in frameness is the whole point of making the videos. Otherwise, I'm just talking and moving my hands intermittently around on the screen. There we go. Next. Making sure I'm getting glue right up to those edges. So the one thing I've really noticed with this Mod Podge is it actually disappears very well against the paper once it's dried. So I'm not too worried about the squeeze out. But you know, I do just want to make sure that I get as little as much of it as possible. Right, 78 to 78. $79. $30. And $31. $6. $105. $104. and 103. So last one before I start joining these two sets of horns back onto the larger model piece. Going well. Constantly improving how everything gets done as we go through the model. Wonderful. All right, let us stick this together now. Start with 83. Hey, Aiden, or is it Aiden? James, I'm doing okay. How are you? Thank you for joining and chatting. First one for today. And there we go. So the one side is done. We're going to close it all off in a second, but let's put the rest of it together. So 111 right here. 110 there. 109 to 109. Squeezing it nice and strong. And I believe this is 101. 108, sorry. Oh, I can't count. All right. So now I'm going to complete the horn before joining it. Means I need to set all of these pieces. Which, you know what, actually may have been easier if I did them first before joining the whole piece together now, because now I can't get any pressure behind the last one on the tip. So that's going to make things tricky. So if you're going ahead and doing this puzzle, or you have pieces that need to make a complete tight circle, Maybe I would suggest trying that out. Maybe we'll have another chance to try that out later today. Later, not today, but on this model. Completing each ring section first before moving on. Okay. Push them all inside as I'm going to try to reach in and provide a little back pressure. So it is quite a bit tricky. I guess I can get my pinky somewhat in there. But these pieces at the very tip, well, aren't staying, so I'm gonna have to paint a little bit more glue and then hope that it's going to be enough. As you know, I am not sure. So what I've done is I've actually just squeezed some in there. It's not that great of a hold, but hopefully it'll dry. There we go. Looks like I'm gonna have to put some more on here too, just at the edges. That's where we're only gonna be able to stick mostly. Unfortunately, because I should have done each ring on its own. Hopefully I'll be able to get this one stick much nicer. Given what I've learned, I'm just getting my pinky inside to support the back as I push. Now you can see that there's quite a bit of gaps here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint some extra glue inside the seam here. And hopefully when I squeeze these edges together, they will hold. Well, it's not perfect, but it'll do. And we'll move on to connecting these pieces onto the model. So on this side, we have 116, 115, 114, 113, and then we have 119, which isn't on anything. And on this one, we have 90, 91, 86, 88, 123. That's not connected to anything. All right. So all of these ones are externally folding. So all of them except for 119 on this side. So 13, 14, 15, and 16. You can glue these up and get them nice and tacky. Yeah, that should be fine. And on this one, we have 89, 90, 91, and 88. So number 123 is the one that's not connected. We'll leave that one dry for now. All right. $116 right here, all the way to 113, which is right there. So let's get 116 connected. Right inside. 115 connected, get a little squeeze. 114. Just gonna give it gotta coerce it into spot. And then 113. I'm gonna squeeze 116 back in. There we go. Starting on this side, we've got 91, which is on the edge. Do this one first. And then 90. 89. And number 88. Excellent. And there we have it. We have the, oops, let's got some pieces coming off. Let's stick this in here. I don't want any pieces coming off. There we go. So here we have this full head figure. Next, we will be, I guess, putting together the neck piece and driving that into the body. That's going to be really come together. I'm really surprised of the size of this. I'm going to have to zoom this camera out a bunch when we start putting the large pieces together, or I'll see. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get it all in frame. But there you have it. So that was parts 3 and 4 of the build. Stay tuned for more progress, and yeah, thank you for watching.